getting one airfare, and then do you want to breathe on the flight? That's another 50.
Would you
do you
like
want
to
to even
land
bring
smoothly?
do you want to bring your wallet? Okay. That's another 25.
Yeah. All right, we are going live. And let's do this one.
This is Wise and Nerdy, where fatherhood meets fandom.
What happens when Toys R Us kids grow up to become parents? They become co-hosts of the show where geeky fathers unite to share the joys, challenges, and hilarity of navigating parenthood, because being a grown-up doesn't mean you stop being a fan. It just means your sidekicks call you Daddy-O! Come on, Joe. Come on. Give me the call back.
Rufia. Oh, wait, wrong one.
All right, whatever.
Wait, what? What is this? What is this show? what did I agree to?
So glad to have Todd Sarner back with us. He survived his trip to Mexico, and that's in the Patreon, so you could hear the regaling of the story he gave me. So I had a story today, then Joe came on and had a story, then Todd had a story, and then we started the show. So that's how that goes. If you'd like
try not to tell any stories before the start of a show. It's like you start and it's like, I already told you my good stuff. So,
oh no, I remember something you started to get into last time you were on that I saved for this time. But we are now proud owners. Joe and I are both proud owners of the Call Me Connected Parent.
Nice.
And I've totally read from it. I've totally gone all the way through it. Like I love when you say here, with young children especially, don't leave them alone together for long stretches. Pop in every 10 to 15 minutes, not to referee, but to quickly reestablish that you're in charge just by being there. Hit me right in the heart, man. Loved it so much.
See,
that's one of the most practical things. Yeah, Joe?
I was just going to say, I like chapter 19 where it talks about a burnout as a parent. It's got a lot of good information in there.
Way to skim to a title of a chapter, Joe, not actually reference something from that meant something to you. But that's neither here nor there.
No,
it's fine. It's fine. What's the question?
I like how the book is called The Calm and Connected Parent.
I like it when you said how to end power struggles without yelling or shaming on the back of your book. No, I love it when you said ISBN 979.
You know what? I put a lot of thought into that ISBN because when I bought my ISBNs, I got 10 to choose from, and I had to select which ones that I wanted. I forget what that organization's called.
I forget.
That the rule of threes, like, it is one of the most common things with young kids, especially, that if you leave them in the room by themselves for a little bit, they play well at first, right? And you're like, I'm such a good parent and my kids are so great, whatever. And it's like one of the main things going on there is like the sense of you being that alpha parent, that sense of you being in charge kind of fades a little, just like if you had a kindergarten class of, 20 great kids, if the teacher left for a little bit, like in about 20 minutes, it's going to be Lord of the Flies.
Right.
It's going to seriously be like, we're going to eat meat over here and like, watch out, piggy. It's going to be bad. But it's like one of the kids usually will start to go try to dominate the other kid. Like they're the boss.
Breakfast
and the
Club.
Other kid will be like, hell no, you're not the boss. And then they start fighting. And it's just because there's a vacuum. Which is, I think, I know it just came out on Netflix again. I think part of the main point, one of the points of Lord of the Flies, is that when you take the hierarchy out, what happens, and very relevant for today's day and age, I think. But it's also true. I used to go geocaching. Do you guys know geocaching?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I used to go geocaching with my kid. And if I brought one other of his friends to go geocaching, it went fine. But if I brought two of his friends, it was a show. It was just they're bouncing off each other and knocking each other off the trail and all this right? There's just something about the dynamic sometimes. But anyway.
My wife and I discovered that with the 4 kids is, when they're small enough, everybody goes everywhere. And we just kind of got used to that level of chaos, how they interacted with each other, got grumpy with each other, whatever. I don't know, Joe, maybe this was like that in your family. But we noticed as parents that if you left one kid behind, it was a little chaotic, but more calm. Only having 2 kids, nothing. They'd be cool with each other. They'd leave each other alone, whatever. And yeah, so it is nuts that way.
Which is part of why
weird.
what we do in my family is we rotate once a month. We rotate the parent and the kid, and we have a day that we spend together with our kids. And so that gets some solo time, but we give them the budget for all of those. And so it equates to about $50 each time. And we tell them, look, it's got to include an activity and it's got to include food. And so we're just going to have some quality time that we spend together. So it teaches them to budget a little bit, and it also gets some alone time with our kids, some quality time.
So you're telling me, Joe, that more or less you only have to take each kid out once a year to feed them. Because 3 kids,
That's
2
that's
parents.
what I heard. So I
Right,
just-
Todd? Right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, so it rotates. They each get four months out of the year because of the 3 kids. So I have to deal with them.
4
I have to
times.
deal with them twice. I have to deal with them twice. Twice as much as you said. Just say it.
You doubled it. Fair enough. Okay, what's the question of the week? We're gonna have so much fun tonight.
The question of the week is: do you like that games do cosmetic only stuff, or would you prefer game changing stuff? And so, like for instance, a lot of games will do skins and things like that, but then other games, they will sell you stuff that is a significant advantage. So between those 2 options, which do you prefer?
It depends on the game, but when I played Marvel Strike Force, there was definitely a pay-to-play aspect that if there was a gold sale that'd come up each month, gold was the currency in game. And if you bought a $50 package or higher, but 50 was the minimum, you would get a special item. And it would have good stats, and it'd be a desirable item to get. And once I started making enough money with that show, I was able to invest $50 and get it. And it gives you a slight advantage, but it's not like a competition game.
Yeah.
But the internet was very torn on it, and the suits, we'd earn suits, and you have special events to earn suits, and the suits would boost your stats or make you stronger, this and that, and the other, give you more slots. And again, they were torn up, but on that game where it's more or less solo play, where I get only some slight help from my friends where they donate, they visit me, quotey fingers, and by that I get money, whatever. That I love, 100%. And I just, for the most part, don't give a crap about cosmetics at being that, I can play dress up, but it doesn't do anything for my character. So that's kind of where I stand.
Yeah, I think it definitely changes the calculus when you're talking about a competitive game versus a more of a solo game.
Yeah, like Fortnite or Counter-Strike or any of the competitive ones.
Yep.
No, you don't need to pay for play advantage. Everybody that's a sporting game, right? You need to be on the same level.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I definitely disagree with stuff like that. But then one game that I have in the past have played a lot with my kids is Bloons TD6. And so there's definitely a bunch of cosmetic stuff in there, but there's also some stuff that actually changes the game a fair bit. So there's one thing that you can buy that's doubles your cash earning during the game. However, there's not a whole lot of competitive aspects to Bloons TD6, and actually all of the parts that are technically competitive, they disable the stuff that gives you that competitive edge. Right. And so you can only play with that competitive edge in stuff where you're either doing solo or you're doing cooperative with a friend. And so I really like that balance that they've struck up there, where anything that's competitive, they refuse to let you buy any kind of competitive advantage.
Unless it's Major League Baseball. But so Todd, where do you stand personally?
Let's not go down that.
No, I know, right? But where do you stand personally and or psychologically on the question?
Oh gosh, I have not. I know I'll get kicked off the show, but I just don't game as much these days. Not for a while, and it was just because I just kind of I go all in, and
I get that.
I don't have time sometimes, and but I guess the cosmetic thing doesn't necessarily appeal to me. I understand that. I played games with that. It's the competitive advantage thing that I've had lots of conversations about, whether it's, these kind of games you're talking about or some of the puzzle, Candy Crush, whatever. It's like, on the one hand, you're earning some of these advantages. On the other hand, you can pay for them, and you're competing against other people. And are those people paying for them? Or are they earning them? But people have these advantages, and so it gets really, for me, kind of. I try not to do it myself for competitive advantage, because I don't want to say cheating. It just doesn't feel. It just doesn't feel like, if I'm here and I'm trying to like figure something out and get good at it, I should just try to get good at it. But then sometimes it would bug me, because I'm like, I know all those other people that I'm playing against have the competitive advantages. So I guess I'd say, from the parenting coach guy standpoint, I just, one of the first things that came up for me is how many parents came to me with Fortnite, telling me that their kids had stolen their credit card.
Oh yeah, I've heard stories.
To use it, like their parents wouldn't figure it out, because they're young enough that they don't even understand the concept of like, a bill comes, dude, and your mom's pretty sure she didn't use it on Fortnite, but I gotta tell you, it was crazy how often it happened that a parent would come to me and say, my 9-year-old, my 12-year-old, my 15-year-old felt he needed to have all the latest everything on Fortnite, and he just had to have it, and he couldn't not have it. And so he actually went and took my credit card. And what should I do about it? And so, that wave settled down, but it was big for a while.
Oh yeah.
It was at first, I'm like, oh, that's a unique thing. Okay, I guess I did something like that when I was 13. That one time, that was kind of like, but then it was like 15 parents came to me with that,
And that's not what we want to get into. That's a bigger issue of the fear of missing out and how these games
The addictive
way.
nature of it. And again, I'm pretty even when it comes to games, and they're, like the benefits and the great stuff about it, versus also it can also, have some downsides for some kids, but that was a trend for a while.
All right, Joe, let's roll some dice.
No, I refuse.
Okay,
we've got a speak pipe.
We got a speak pipe. All right.
But what were you going to say besides rolling dice?
I'm not seeing a chat for some reason, but I see people watching. So if somebody's typing something, maybe there's a glitch tonight. Just letting you know, we normally recognize when people type something when we put it in if it's relevant, and I'm not seeing anything in chat. Just so everybody knows.
I opened it up too, because I didn't even think about it last time, and it just says nothing to see here, private.
Gotcha.
Oh, somebody just random kid says I am lurking, so I guess it is working.
Okay, it popped out now. Cool. Thank you, random kid. Normally somebody says something, and hey, we were talking about Todd and his microphone issues on the last show, which we didn't think were issues, but blah blah blah. Talk Studios sometimes switches things off. So I was worried about it. All right, Joe, play the speak pipes.
All righty.
Hi, I'm Brock. And for the question of the week, do you like games that do cosmetic stuff, or would you prefer game-changing stuff? I would personally choose both. It's like cosmetic stuff that changes your abilities.
That's game-changing stuff, Bob. You can't ride the fence.
Brought to you by Bob. Also, Charles says I'm wrong. It would be game-changing stuff.
He knew that you would complain about him riding the fence, and he decided to pick one at the end.
Do you get to drop the mic for him right now? Somebody...
Oh my god! Okay, all right.
That was next level right there.
I will accept your application for consideration for my 2-week comedy internship here in the Bears Den studio, Bob. It's under consideration. We'll see if your parents can afford it. Oh my God. That was good. Good job, because you played it. You played it well.
Spot on imitation too.
Oh man. And Todd, when you first started talking about this question, you had mentioned that there were games that you had specifically avoided, and I same thing. When I was in college, I specifically avoided World of Warcraft because I knew I would like it too much, and I didn't want to have to pay for a subscription fee for it, but I just knew that it would not go over well while I'm in college. So
No. I mean, I don't remember if this came up last time. I can't imagine it didn't. But I grew up in San Jose, California. I grew up with Apple and Atari programmers as neighbors. I had classrooms that had some of the first games. Of course, the games were like, you come upon a troll at a bridge. What do you do?
Yep.
Hit him. No. And then we'd say some kind of really stuff you shouldn't say, and then the computer program would say that's not appropriate, And I can't remember this coming up last time, but I was on a video game TV show when I was 13 called Starcade, that they produced out of San Francisco. That was like this nationwide syndicated show. If you look it up sometime, you'll see me in a sexy brown velour zip up, shirt that I thought looked really stylish when I was 13. I beat a dad. They ran the contestant. His son got sick, so they put a dad against me when I was 13. I beat him. But anyway, I grew up around video games and I liked them. But by the time I got to college, I started having this, but I shouldn't sometimes thing, just because I saw my friends not doing their homework, playing Mario Kart literally all night, or like a 500 game tournament of Mario Kart, and I'm like, oh no, I'll get pulled into that vortex. So I've always had a love it, hate it relationship.
There's a mix of two memes that come to mind. One is the more newer one from the recent Planet of the Apes with Caesar Hoover going, "Oh no," and the other is the meme of, you're loading in that one last game and you hear your alarm go off for you to get up for work. I wasn't like that all night, but my wife would work during the daytime and I'd be a paramedic. So it's 24 on, 48 off. So we'd hang out in the morning. She'd go to work. And I'd have 8 or so hours to do whatever. But she'd always say, "Hey, could you vacuum the floor? Do one thing in 8 hours for me." "Yeah, babe. Yeah, sure." And I swear to you, she shuts the door. And the next thing, a minute later, she walks in and I'm like, "Oh no, it's been 8 hours." That was a really rough start to the marriage for sure.
I just looked this up, guys, and this is how much I like you guys. I'm gonna publicly display this. That's me with hair, with Jeff Edwards.
Go.
On Starcade playing pole position too, and some old games.
Yeah, Joe apparently found it on YouTube as well.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Sure did. Grab that link, pause it, and check it out.
It was my nephews, my brother's kids found this like 10 years ago. I had no idea it existed. And my Tyler and Camo, my nephews are like, "Hey, Uncle Todd, Starcade." I'm like, "Oh no." My mom used to pop it in on VHS, like when a girl would come over for the first. "Have you seen this?" I'm like, "Thanks, Mom. That's awesome."
Was she doing it because she was proud, or was she trying to embarrass you, or both?
Yes.
I do want, like, I'll see clips of things on TikTok, older shows and stuff like that. And I go, I wonder if the people in this ever realize that somehow this survived and made it on, like, because the trend's been what we like in the 90s, more of actual, like, converted VHS footage from high school days in between 90 and 94, which my high school days. There's like what life was like, and I'm like, God, I wonder if somebody's just scrolling one day. You go, "Oh my God, that was me in high school. What the hell?"
Oh, it comes back to get people. I could see Twitter, right? I could see so much, but 1983, like a television show, like How
But
does
it-
that still exist?
I do wish my first TV appearance would just randomly show up like that, because I was 8, so that would have been 85. I was on the local Fox affiliate being interviewed with an adult about homeschooling, and apparently I owned the set and just took over the conversation.
Oh, nice.
So that VHS tape supposedly is somewhere, but I would love to see it. So
Somebody out there searching for it right now.
now we're gonna roll some dice. Go ahead.
Now I
suppose.
thought, yeah.
1 or a 6.
6
Nope.
will work.
A
See, Todd
6?
was like, no 6. He bailed.
Waka waka, bad dad jokes.
Well, let's see what Bob has to say about that.
Let's see what Bob has to say.
Hi, I'm Bob, and for the Groans with Charles section, I got a few bad Bob jokes. A while ago, I stopped telling jokes about unemployed people because none of them worked.
Oh, no.
You gotta hand it to short people,
Because they can't reach.
because they usually can't reach it.
Yeah, come on, buddy.
An old
Come on.
lady walked into the bank and asked me to check her balance.
So you pushed her over.
So I pushed her over.
Try
I
harder.
gave
So
my
this is a
seat
whole
on the
routine you
bus
guys
to
have.
An old lady. That's how I lost my job as a bus driver. Those are a few bad Bob jokes. Yes, Charles. I did 4. What are you gonna do? Call the police? You can't do nothing. Brought to you by Bob.
So, Todd, Bob is Joe's kid.
I know, I
His
remember.
middle demon, to be exact. And he's been taking some feedback. He's calling Joe. He's taking some feedback. I normally don't interrupt his jokes, except tonight he came at me with, I want both cosmetic and
That's-
whatever. And he set me
That's what
up.
I'm saying. I think
He set me up. And then yeah, I figured he was going to try to go 4. Well, we'll see. We'll see, Bob. We'll see. I'm going to start just randomly shouting out terms that you may or may not need to search on the internet. Just saying.
Nope. So, Charles,
Nope.
If-
Bob ran out the time.
if
Bobby
they grew Doritos on a farm, that'd be a pretty cool ranch.
oh, my.
Roll the dice, man.
Yeah.
that.
Oh, guys, what time is it? I have to go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
look,
leave Todd to that dinner.
another 6. We should just do more bad dad.
5. No, wait. Well, how far are we in?
We're not very far. Are you sure you
roll
want 5?
again. Nah, roll
Okay.
again.
All right, 1 or a 3.
Todd, randomly pick.
3.
How do I?
Okay, good. I was like, last time I saw that space was blank. All right, guys. How do I prevent my pride from getting in the way of being a good parent? I don't feel like I wrote that one. I feel like maybe Joe wrote that, because I don't feel like I'm a good parent. I feel like everything gets in my way of being a good parent. But how do I let my pride? Where did that one come from, Joe?
I came up with it today.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So kind of give us some story here.
Well, so I know I've done it before, where I get into this mindset where I'm always right. I'm the parent. And so you get into that prideful mindset, and sometimes it can prevent you from accepting that you're not always right, that you are human still. You're allowed to be wrong even when you're a parent. You're allowed to show weakness in front of your kids. So how do you prevent that pride, that stubbornness how do you prevent it from you being a good parent?
Well, my honest short answer is
You're too tall for a short answer.
that section.
I thought we rolled a 3.
Thank you, Todd. See, anytime he can go, you can come. We're down. Is Joe that I would get caught up in something, right? Like you said, I know best, and I wasn't quite listening to feedback. And every once in a while, my wife had to pick her battles, and she would push and do something with the kids anyway, knowing that I might have been against it. or was against it, whatever, but knowing that it wouldn't end the world. Like, it's not like bringing a cat home, right? So it wouldn't end, and so when it happened and then everything was fine. Okay, I do remember one. I was from before my firstborn son was born, I was very much sleep patterns, rest, because it was something that was stolen from me as a kid. I didn't get rest. And anyway, so I was like, sleep patterns, rest. And my wife was all about hanging out with her family and being entertained, especially while I was at work. And so she'd be taking them at 3-4 months, and she'd still be out at her mom's house at 11 p.m. doing things. And I was, going, he needs to sleep. She'd take a picture like he is sleeping with some choice 4-letter words behind it. And that's when I had to go, oh, okay. I don't have to control everything. I don't have to understand everything. It's almost a "but did you die" moment. But as a dad, it's like, but did they die? No, everything was okay. So that's how I've worked through it for the most part. Are you asking for a friend, or you need some more professional advice from Todd there?
I mean, Todd is the professional in this degree, I assume. His book seems to indicate.
Oh, yeah. Some people. Yeah, I've been working nonstop on another one since that too.
Oh.
I mean, I guess what I see most days is, and what I'm trying to help parents with a lot is, the number one thing along these lines is like parents taking things personally, like something reflects upon them.
Oh God,
or they're being disrespected, right? And I was just saying this to clients that I was on with, like right before we started. A big client day today, full, but is like, it's almost never personal. It's almost always an instinct, and it's almost never disrespect. It's just what is going on in the moment, And we can get into the other flavors of it too that you're talking about, Charles, like that sometimes as human beings we get locked into a mindset about one thing is the right thing all the time, and almost nothing is the right thing all the time. And so like what we need to try to do is be in the moment as much as we can, and not just trying to be a bumper sticker, mindfulness in the moment, whatever. But there's a reason why that's said a lot, like in psychology and philosophy and spirituality, is if I go into a situation just already thinking I know what's best, it doesn't necessarily meet the situation, which is what I took from your story, Charles,
Yeah.
And so the danger a lot of times is just like, I already have a preconceived notion. So if I walk into a room and I tell a kid what to do without taking a moment to connect with them first, and I know since you read the titles of every chapter of my book, you know what I'm talking about. But if I do that, the first thing a kid is going to do is absolutely oppose me. And we want them to have that instinct.
Yeah.
Because it's what keeps them safe against strangers and danger and being influenced by people that they shouldn't be influenced by. Is all kids have an instinct not to listen to somebody if I don't feel connected to you right now. You have it with your spouse. You have it with friends, but kids have it really hardwired in them. So if I walk in a room and I think a kid should be respectful, a kid shouldn't talk back, kid shouldn't because my parents didn't allow, whatever. If that's your story going in, good luck with that. That's nice. I can maybe even understand what you're saying. I believe we should try to be respectful to each other. But that kid's acting on instinct. That kid's not acting in defiance of me. They're acting the way they're actually supposed to. And that's on me, that I didn't take a beat to get his eyes first and like connect first for a moment. Not as some fake thing, but that's what you're supposed to do. Like we just went to Paris a year ago, first time I hadn't gone in a long time, but they famously are super rude to people if you don't take the time to look at them in the face and go, "Comment ça va? Bonjour, madame. How are you?" If you don't take the time to connect as humans and you just say, "Can I have some bread?" They're like, "Get out of my store." So anyway, I'm going off on a rant, but that's that. It's like, I think when we have preconceived notions or we go into a situation not there's a thing, a woman who I worked with, Katie, brilliant lady, decades of experience as a therapist. And she talked to me about the needs triangle, which isn't, I don't think, her original idea, but she used to bring it up a lot. The needs triangle is like, if it's you and me in a situation, one point is what I need and what I'm thinking. One point is what you need and what you're thinking. And the third point is the situation, right? I don't know if you've heard that before. And if I'm taking into account my needs to be listened to or respected or thought of, but also yours and also what's going on right now, it kind of opens things up a little bit. Much bigger answer than you probably wanted, but there you go.
He probably wanted to hear, just take him for a Slurpee once every 5 months and you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, go take him for a Slurpee.
Twice a year.
Yeah, I mean, according to Joe, he loved this part in your book where it said
once
made
a
in the
quarter.
USA.
Yes.
But you said, God, man, you said it reflects on them, and that is something that I know, and I feel like I could be making it up because I just heard it so much from my mom, but I'm almost sure she said it out loud that what me and my sister do in public reflects back on them as parents. And part of that was because my dad was a preacher and blah, blah, blah. And I tried to dump a lot of that, but I did have a lot of that in me with my kids. And I had to work on that a lot to go, one, first off, why do I care what any other parent thinks? Because I think all of their kids are trash. So I really don't care what they think. And two, I kind of, without knowing the words that you just said, Todd, slowly but surely got to at least part of the points of they're a kid, that's how they're supposed to act. And then really the third one was, I don't think this is even where you were going with the question, Joe, but the third one was like when I saw my son be angry, and I know he learned that from me, like how he handled the anger, not the anger itself.
Yeah. And that's a bigger one. Maybe we unpack sometime too. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes there's a slightly different truth to it. But it's in, like, again, I just riff and like, I like having fun talking to you guys. And so pardon me for my riffing style. I know you have an agenda here, but I'm nothing to reflect upon your mom and whatever the situation happened to be, because it partly depends on your age and exactly what kind of, mischief you were up to. But just in general, as a guy who's also a couples counselor and deals with how people talk to each other all the time, at our best, I mean, let's say my kid's acting up a little bit in public and I feel embarrassed. So actually what I'm operating from is I feel embarrassed, not what's going on with you.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I say, you know what you're doing reflects upon us and you need to stop it. Okay. I could say that, but most of that would be coming from, again, my embarrassment and my perception of what other people think of me. Right. But I could take my kid aside and go, hey, I know we've been out a long time. I know you're tired. You need to get home, but we really have to, when we're out in public, people are looking at us and it reflects upon us, and let's just kind of get along as a family, and we're going to get home soon. I can tell you the same lesson, but I said it totally different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that second one's fine, but it's like, I'm getting reactive and I'm getting upset and I'm making you feel ashamed because you're reflecting upon me. That feels totally different. That feels like shame,
I feel like we took this way deeper, Joe. Like you might have been asking, how do I listen to my kids' ideas and step back?
No, deep is good. It's called wisdom.
Joe's like, I'm never rolling that dice again.
I am the wise. He's the nerdy. We've reestablished it. It's good.
I'm just whatever, right in between here.
But Todd, we talked about this last time, and we'll keep talking about it till you do it. You're talking about unpacking.
We've got like this. Wise and nerdy.
Oh my God! You're trying to make me the N in the logo. You went a long way for that visual joke for the podcast.
And yet it landed. It worked.
Yeah, not as well as Bob's joke landed. So.
No. Bob's the king.
Yeah, but we need little shorts, whatever it is. We need unpacking the trauma, the family trauma with Todd Sarner, where.
Guys, I so try. I try to figure out ways to get, like, best I can do right now is just accept invitations from folks like you and just say, okay, let's talk. But I'm horribly perfectionist about like trying to put out my own stuff sometimes, and so I just don't do it.
And there may be a time in the semi near future where my life gets back to where I can really get vesting time in projects I want to do, because that would be a fun one, just to talk to you even once a month. Like, hey, here's a question, and then you riff and we talk, and then we get your wisdom, and then I'll help you put it out. But we'll see when the time is right. The stars will align.
Yes, I'm trying. I have a YouTube channel that I still kind of put stuff out there sometimes, but I feel more natural just talking, to people and riffing in the moment. It just feels more natural than a script.
No, I get that. I would roll the dice. Otherwise, I'm going to repeat everything the last time he was here.
Well, that's unanimous. Double fives.
A commercial break would be good right now.
So, Joe, where can people find this amazing book that we have in our hands, The Calm and Connected Parent by Todd Sarner?
I don't actually know if there's a link to it, but I assume there is on transformativeparenting.com.
Who knows? I got hacked recently.
Oh
no.
No, my web guy is trying to fix it, but it's on Amazon. I actually just put out a thing the other day, and I really, really am allergic to promoting too much on things, but
that's why we do it for you.
I just put out a thing the other day that I haven't really advertised yet, where I did a one-time companion course for the book.
Okay.
Where for a month, Monday through Friday, I did like a short video, and then every Saturday I answered questions for like an hour or more. And so I put a thing up the other day on Shopify where it's like $60 or something. So I was trying to make it as affordable as I could. People get a copy of the book, they get a digital copy of the workbook, and they get the class. So for a month, they go through this system instead of just reading the book. And it was just my answer to like, I can't work with everybody, and it's kind of expensive to work with me and stuff because I only see like 4 or 5 people a day, and I've been doing it a long time. And I was trying, the book was my answer to try to like, hey, this is $16 and you can get it at your library, or you can get the ebook for cheaper. But I was also finding that people are like, but we want a little coaching, or we want a little feedback. So I put that together, and I haven't, it's not on my website or anything yet. I think I just told my email list about it the other day.
Yeah.
So I can get you guys that link.
Yeah, man. We'll share it out. Everything. Little taste here. I've been well known for finding the why on things. This is connected to your why. Picture, and this is talking about this particular one's in the chapter about one team, one voice. But connected to your why. Picture your child feeling completely secure that their grown-ups have got this, even during disagreements. What would that stability feel like to them, and how would it change the atmosphere in your home? And I mean, I think I may have even said in the last show, one of the things that I did with my wife was I knew, because I heard my parents fight, I knew the kids are going to, even if they don't hear it, they'll feel the vibes, that the atmosphere will change. They will know there's something wrong. So we need to also apologize and show them how to work it out. And do that kind of thing. So definitely we're gonna have some links to put out. I'm gonna put it in my newsletter also, Todd. And cool. I'm gonna play this awesome thing about potteration, and then we're gonna do a little dad meditation.
Oh.
Brought to you by Potteration, podcast for nerds.
All right, Joe. When you have a son who thinks he's funnier than your co-host, every once in a while we just got to center ourselves. We got to be that calm and connected.
I'm sorry.
Parent.
Hold on one second. Who thinks he is?
Got him.
Yes,
no, I was just trying to make sure I heard you correctly, Charles. That's all.
Speaking of that son, he wanted me to show off a tie that he made this week.
Is that a Pokemon tie?
Yep. My wife bought a whole bunch of iron-on patches and so he
nice
put them on a tie. He's gonna wear it to church on Sunday. No one's. They bought it they did an activity at church where they bought blank ties, and so they brought a whole bunch of these and put them on there. So all the kids are gonna wear Pokemon ties at church on Sunday.
Nice.
So now we're gonna meditate on. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. And gosh darn it, people like me.
Started people like me.
Because nobody here gives me my credit. I'm funnier than Bob.
I'm funnier than a child.
So let's just reset with our music.
Okay.
I just like the peace that that brings. Every once in a while, Joe's like, maybe you're gonna put us to sleep, because we used to have some bangers on here, but I was like, just kind of recenters. And I find as dads, as humans, we need that moment of recentering. And if we can make you laugh and we can get you talking about something or feel connected, and then give you that moment of just, okay, I'm cool. You know, that's what you need. Sometimes it's all you have is in the car while you're pulling in that driveway and you hear that moment of the podcast. Just take a second before you go inside, because
Yeah. You know, you're talking about being calm and connected. I feel like I've heard that before.
Like in this
that
famous
sounds like
book,
BS to me.
this
Sounds like
famous
complete
book where
BS.
I love when he says Todd Sarner, MFT, is a licensed family therapist. Yeah, no, you're brilliant. It's fun, and honestly, look, it's an easy read. It is broken down to help you understand it, help you put some of the dots together, and if that's not enough, you got the workbook as well, which I love.
Yeah,
The workbook.
it's one of the hardest things in the world for me to make it an easy read. And so the fact that it comes across that way, great. Because boy, I just wanted to go off on all sorts of things about why this and how this connects and the science of this and that. And I'm like, nobody has the bandwidth for that. You know, like, we don't. Say it to me simply. Say it to me like, they say, talk to me like I'm a, fifth grader or something. Not because we're all dumb, but because when it comes to this stuff, it just like, it goes right over your head when it's intellectualized. And so I was trying really, really hard. That's how I finally cracked the code and finished that thing, is I like simplify, you know?
I think I'm seeing a therapist now, and there's some things that I've told other people in coaching and guidance that she is feeding back to me almost word for word sometimes, but also dumbing it down to where I can hear it a little better, and also connecting some dots. And it just hits me that perhaps it's taught to me on that lower level of understanding, because of that's where the trauma started building up, and I'm trying to heal back to that healthy person to then be who I am today. And I had to hear it at that pre-trauma level, before I could understand it.
That's such an important thing to understand. I mean, you could do books, and people have, just on what you just said. You can go on and on and on. Like, one of the main things to understand that I was trying to get through in that book was, you could have the best morals, the best values. You could read the books. You could do the podcasts. You could know what you want to do, but the second your nervous system gets all dysregulated, you get into fight or flight, you get overwhelmed, you get into any trauma you might have from your childhood, you have no access to those things. You can't, literally, when they partly discovered this when they came up with functional MRIs, the brain scans you see on TV.
Yep.
And they see the colors, right? If it's cool colors, you're in your cerebral cortex, you're in your smart parts of your brain on the outside. When it's the red or the dark orange, you're in your amygdala, your limbic system. You literally can't access the angels of your better nature. You can't get to it, right? So you could know all the stuff in the world, but if you're dysregulated, you can't access it. It's not the only thing, but it is such an important thing, because I have so many parents come to me. They're like, I have read literally every book. I've listened to every freaking podcast, and I just still yell at my kid sometimes, and it's like, yeah, but you need to understand why that is. If blood is not going to that part of your brain, you can't do it, And so that's why it has to be so, so important that we put a priority on knowledge. Knowledge is good, because a lot of times, like the little things I try to tell you about disrespect versus what's actually right, if there's knowledge in there for you to access, it's less likely that you'll get upset. But if you don't have the knowledge, then sometimes you'll get upset because you'll fill in the blanks with your childhood stuff or what your parent did or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so I see it as like a multi-tiered thing. Give the right information about the right things in the right order and the right understanding, but also teach how connection has to come first and regulating yourself has to be in there. And boy, if you're not on the same page with your spouse about it, that also doesn't work, because kids need to have a compass point. And if you and your wife are generally on the same page and operating from the same playbook, they have a compass point. If you're both doing different things or you're inconsistent on different days about different things, and then you expect your kid knows what a consequence is, or your kid knows that a no means no, but maybe if you ask dad the right way, maybe you'll get half a whatever. Like, it doesn't work, and then you get mad at your kids and it affects your marriage, right? So it's like these different things that come together. And in the book, I was trying as easy as I could to try to bring those things up in a way. One of my favorite reviews on Amazon, and I've been lucky to get some good ones, was a guy said, I literally felt myself calming down as I read the book. I'm like, perfect. Because there's lots of things people say, and there's doctors on there and people saying nice things that are wonderful. But I think more people will read that and go, oh, it actually helps calm me down instead of gets me lit up like a lot of content does, So
yeah, I mean, honestly, the way we build this show, my heart for it is to be the #1 dad connected fandom show out there, because I've seen some great dad content creators, but it almost always devolves into the stereotypes and the bad dad. I don't mean like our bad dad jokes telling them, but like I'm a bad dad because I do this. But and so
there's so much dad bashing out there.
Yeah.
It's
and we do it to ourselves.
That's what I was gonna say is like I gotta admit I've kind of been lightly part of it in some ways, like with guy friends. Yeah, we're idiots sometimes, or talking to a couple and like getting a little on a guy for not having an emotional intelligence about something a little bit, and it came from this like more guy responsibility men's group kind of vibe of like, let's be better, but I also realized there's just so much bashing, on like every kid's TV show, the parents are idiots.
Right.
Like almost all of them. And so many TV shows, the dad is just clueless, dumb, whatever, and it does not help us. Now, absolutely call people to account if they're doing destructive things in the world and they're, harming people. But it doesn't get us out of it to talk to people like they're dumb or they're bad or whatever. Yeah. Let's educate and let's figure it out, because it's usually because that's what I got as a kid. And a big one for me, without going off on another riff yet, is we teach boys that boys aren't supposed to cry. Boys aren't supposed to have feelings. Boys are not supposed to be like a girl, and boys get that message early on. And then we wonder why they aren't as emotionally intelligent sometimes, or they don't know how to cry or get something off their chest, because they're told, like my first client ever, and I don't mean to sound mean about this guy. He was a very good-hearted guy, but he was telling his 3-year-old son that boys don't cry, and telling it to me like it was just a matter of fact, because that's how he was raised in his Italian family, that's what was told to him, and he meant it with all his heart. Like he didn't mean it as being mean, right?
Right, that's his truth. That's what he understood.
Right, but if people don't feel their feelings like somewhere and feel them and process them and get them out, they get angry, and they get aggressive, and sometimes it's outright angry, and sometimes it's passive aggressive, or my personal weakness, character flaw, sarcasm. Sarcasm can be funny, but sarcasm can also be aggression,
Gotcha,
and I kind of grew up being able to really zing a person, even without them knowing I am sometimes, and everybody else knows I am, but that's aggression too. But that comes from you're not really feeling and processing your stuff,
Yeah. Oh, Joe, top that with your question of the week for 3
So
weeks from Sunday.
thank you for putting out positive dad stuff, guys, and I'll come back again
we
if you'll
appreciate
have
it.
me to talk
Yeah.
about the dad book in a few months.
We will have you come and talk and hang out anytime, and
Right on.
absolutely when you have something to promote, but not just when you have
No,
something to promote.
I honestly, I mean it when I say it bugs me to promote, but then I also go, I wrote this for a damn purpose. I'm not
Right.
making $1 million on it. I wrote it because I wanted to help people. So just help people and stop,
Yeah.
shut up about the 80 cents you make on each book.
And then when it really captures the world's attention and you start getting interviewed on CNN, you can drop the wise and nerdy tags all the time.
Oh, I will
We'll just,
absolutely.
you know.
Wait, tag like a gang sign? Or-
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I was saying the other day on Wise and Nerdy, the best dad podcast out there.
Oh man,
Joe, what's
I really don't know why I'm here talking to you, Anderson Cooper. I should
Yeah.
be on Wise and Nerdy right now.
exactly.
Doing bad Star Wars jokes.
Oh my god. I think well, okay, but I won't go off on that. Joe, what's the upcoming question of the week as I digress?
The question of the week for June 4th is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how strict are/were your parents?
Oh. That's an interesting one. All right. Do we have any other random speak pipes, or are we ready to roll some dice?
We've got Bob nerding out from last week that we never ended
Okay.
up playing.
Let's do it.
So, and he sent in
Bob.
a nerding out for this week too. So we get two Bob nerding outs.
What about Bob?
What about Bob indeed?
I want to before we play it, I want to challenge our art-friendly audience. I want you to draw what you think Bob looks like, just from the way he goes, "Hi, I'm Bob." You know, I want you guys to draw whatever you think, what his D&D character would be, whatever you want. But I want to see some visualizations of this kid. All right, hit the buttons.
All right, so here's the one from last week.
Hi, I'm Bob, and I am nerding out about the anime. Am I really the strongest? This is the Bob version of Guess That Anime. I'm excited to see what Charles says. Also, Dad, you better tell him what it's about after he guesses a couple of times. Brought to you by Bob.
A couple of times. Well, I mean, that's not one of the ones like your dad listens to or watches, because am I the strongest? I mean, it is definitely about middle kid syndrome, always doubting yourself, knowing that your big brother probably could beat you up, but he doesn't because it's inappropriate. And then you open up a noodle shop and you sell talking fish. That's what it's about.
I see. So
Did you just make that up on the fly?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So what it's actually about is a guy is reincarnated into a world, and the goddess that reincarnates him makes him super OP. But there's a problem with that. So as a baby, they measure what his potential is, and their measuring device only goes to 2 digits. And so what it shows is 0, 2. They're like, oh, this guy sucks. This baby is horrible. And then it cuts over to the goddess, and she's like, oh no, I made a mistake. I made his power level 1002. And so he's born to, I think it's the king and the hero. And they're like, we can't have, again, that parent pride that we were talking about earlier. They're like, we can't have a son that's this horrible. So they get rid of him. Like, they ditch him in the woods. But he's so OP even as a baby that he survives and then ends up getting adopted by his aunt and uncle. And so, yeah, so that's kind of a gist of how it starts off. Yeah.
Now we'll save his other one for the nerding out section, but all right.
Okay.
Anything else before we roll the dice?
No, that's it.
And Devo, you came in late. You missed the bad dad jokes. Where Todd's on my side.
Yeah, he did miss that.
All right. Well, we got ourselves a 4.
Paul Parliament of Popeyes?
I believe this came from our Discord. You can find it over at linktree/wise_n_nerdy. And that's all our links, including the Discord, which is free. And Joe, why don't you pop it out? This is from one of our community members.
All right. Yeah, this comes to us from Mithril Beata, who has been on the show. She was a lot of fun. So she wrote this in parentheses, kind of in the italics to set the mood. Struts in, head held high and confident into the center spotlight in the dark room. She can hear the murmurs of duskly avian chatter beyond the shadows.
Wait, is this fan fiction or is this actual? Am I the butt face or whatever?
She's just setting the mood for it.
Okay, setting the mood. So
yep.
A little of both. Got it.
She says, Parliament of Papas, I come to you out of love for an, I can't remember what this actually, AUDHD.
Oh, that was, yes, it's D&D's, it has to do with like, it's like ADD, but I forget what the U is, but that's a panel that we do at DragonCon every year. Well, I don't do it. Somebody presents it and great at it. But it's sensory overload, those kind of things.
Okay. So she's talking about her little cousin, and by little, age 20, so is an adult, that seems to be getting his footing in the world. His social/work experience so far consists of a store clerk position for over a year now and some convention volunteering. I notice that he is wanting to be independent and recognizing he already has yearning to do things on his own without being told yet is terrified of things out and about. What all can I do effectively, in your opinion/experience, to support him when I'm with him? So far, it's his second year volunteering, and I've used my own networking skills to stay in the background, but notice he is still overthinking decisions, and I'm afraid it's beating him up on the inside at times. I am sociable and understand different types of personalities, but I don't know all minds. Please, in your wisdom, what insight do you have for me?
So I may have misinterpreted the initials originally. I may not, but it definitely sounds like some awkwardness there. So what's the stem there? What's the question that she's really trying to solve? Like, how do I support is it a nephew, cousin?
Little cousin. And so the acronym, the AUDHD, is a term for someone who has both autism and ADHD.
Gotcha. Which I do think plays into that panel, but I did mix it up with the ADHD and D, whatever. Okay. So he's terrified. Did I hear that right? He's terrified of the world, but also wants to be independent and do things.
Yes. Yeah. He wants to be more independent. But he also has a tendency to overthink all of his decisions. And he's terrified of the world is how it sounds. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's easy, Todd. You tell him get over it, right? And that's
exactly.
Yeah, just suck it up, Buttercup. You'll be all right.
Yeah, because guys don't cry, right?
Yeah. Man, that's so I don't know how to relate to it as a family member. Like, I instantly, when I hear Con, I just go into worker mode. And I know what I would do is if I was in an area, and she knows me, so if I was in an area that she go, hey, he's volunteering over here, would you check on him? As an outside source, I can come to him and just be kindly blunt and be like, hey, we all need to find some quiet space sometimes. We all need to make decisions and then rethink them. But we do need to keep, whatever I can do to help connect with him. And you can't stop him from overthinking, but you can find, because she said she used her networking skills, so you can find other people that maybe could feed in a little bit, the guide, and then to say, hey, it's okay, follow me, I'll show you how to do this, or whatever it is he's struggling with is kind of off the top. This honestly sounds more like a how do I, which would be great if people want to start submitting those as well. Because Parliament more is the butt face, and she's absolutely not the butt face in this story. But Joe, Todd, I mean, what do y'all think?
I think small steps is the best part, and also just so giving him opportunities to be a little bit more independent here and there, but also when he has made those advances, I think a lot of positive reinforcement so that he gets out of his own head, especially since he has a tendency to overthink his decisions. You reinforce when he makes those good decisions so that hopefully that alleviates that overthinking that he's doing something wrong.
Yeah, I think totally great answers. And I don't really necessarily specialize in these issues. I've had lots of clients with kids on the spectrum and friends on the spectrum, and definitely have opinions. I just want to name that I don't specialize in it because there's a lot of people out there with better knowledge than I have. But part of what I think about when somebody's autistic is that it's one of the most important frames to have is sensitivity, you know, is that everybody has sensitivity levels, and all the good amazing people I've known that are somewhere on the spectrum and family members of people I know, they're just really 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 sensitive. And if you understand it that way, you do your best to give good reinforcement. You do your best to build a good little village around them, you know, because they don't need to get along with everybody, and they don't need to feel, none of us do. Like, I don't have energy to be friends with 30 people. I mean, sorry to the 50 people who came to the wedding. But that was draining too. But anyway, no, but like no one's kids need a bunch of friends, but we do need to have a little tribe around us. And I just think in this situation, that's even more important. Good connections, like what you're saying, you know, Charles, like people who can check in, people who can, you know, make sure they feel safe and that there's people out there that have their back. And, you know, the village aspect of it, I just think is very important. And understanding that sometimes people can misunderstand people with autism as like something's wrong with them more than thinking of it as like a sensitivity issue, you know? And I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not saying it's the whole thing. I'm just saying it's part of how I find people relate better and treat people more as humans, is understand like, hey, it's a sensitivity thing. And I just have to be aware of that. I hesitate because I would really want to know more details and get a lot more about what the resources are and what's already there and the relationships. So I hesitate, but that's just some initial thoughts I have.
I want to encourage her to the fact that she's thinking about it and keeping some distance and not rushing in on every instinct that she has. You are helping in a great way. Sometimes in all walks of life, letting the small crashes that aren't life changing happen can help learn. But that, again, that comes to a detail. If your cousin's a person that can self-educate and go, oh, for lack of a better example, oh, the stove is hot, I won't touch it again. If that's something they can process, then the little crashes are okay. And sometimes, yeah, I have definitely found teaching EMT school, I've worked with people with learning disorders. But number one, people typically want to be, of all walks of life, they just wanted to be how they perceive everybody else, treated like how they perceive everybody else. Love on the Spectrum is a great example of that. And so in my personal case, without detail, but imagining I get to know him a little better, I personally put pressure on him. It's like, hey, I'm not going to give you time to think. I need you to come and put these kibbles down this way. So setting up some order, setting up some traction there. And then just maybe in a different way, but just like I would push Joe or somebody else, like, we got a timetable. Because if I can identify that they're overthinking and that's what's holding them back, just, hey, make a decision because it's not the end of the world. Cool, great decision. And then, Joe, like you said, that reinforcement of that, or I wouldn't have done it that way, or I've always tried to tell people it's okay to say, I don't know. You know, I'm gauging your level of knowledge, and that's the same with an interaction and somebody trying to learn how to be in public, gauging the level of where you're at. So if you don't know how to do something or don't know what to do in this situation, the overthinking comes from being stuck in that emotion. So tell me you don't know, and I'll tell you what I would do, and then let's see if you can go from there. But we're all non. We two definitely at the top are non-experts. Todd is not a specialist, but he knows what he's talking about. Hopefully, Mithril, that helps.
Yep.
All right, Joe. What do we have left? We got a couple more left.
Yep.
All right. We're keeping Todd from his bride. We can't do that. We gotta go.
All right, we got number 2.
Daddy, tell me a story.
All right. Time to turn off the therapist talk, which has been amazing, and I love it so much. And time to dive into the Todd and I found out last time that we have 3 degrees of separation from each other. 2 degrees.
Oh.
So I worked with Jim Brewer and got to help produce him and do some stuff and talk to him, gave some ideas they ended up using, going on tour with Metallica, those kind of things. And it's just cool. It's just cool to work with somebody I think is creative and fun and this and that and the other. And then talking to Todd, somehow, I don't know how that came up, but Todd started dropping some stories about Metallica. So today is, Todd, tell us a story about working with some awesomely famous, cool people.
I'd rather talk about some.
I want to hear Metallica. I don't care about
manga. Like my favorite.
We're getting to that. We're getting to that.
Boku Dake ga Naimachi. My favorite manga. I love it. But all that talk of it. I to get through college, I was working for a famous rock promotion company, Bill Graham Presents. A lot of people know who Bill Graham is, although he is mostly Bay Area. One of the most famous rock promoters. I kind of wanted to be him when I was 13. I didn't want to be in the band. I wanted to be the guy backstage.
Nice.
And then so my buddy Frank, years later, we were both DJs at a club when I was in college, and he said, "Hey, he was a runner who worked in music studios, and I worked with him at Bill Graham Presents, and would run and get rock stars sushi. I mean, or go get a guitar from somewhere. And I did that for years, and I loved it because I was in my car. I'm going to get sushi. I can get my own. And then he tells me, hey, Metallica is getting ready to move into an army barracks in the Presidio in San Francisco, the old army base. And do you want to come down for a weekend and help us load in? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I thought I was kind of out of this business at this point, but it's Metallica. They were like my favorite when I was, in high school.
Yeah.
Still liked them, but I was, a fan. Like I saw them at a couple clubs in San Francisco. I saw them at Day on the Green and all these things, and Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets. I mean, just some of the best records of all time. And I'm like, yeah, I'll come down for the weekend. And just one thing led to another, and the guys kind of liked me a little bit. And it's like, do you want to stick around to help record this record, be a studio runner? And so I ended up working for those guys for like 5 years, and have some great stories, most of which I wouldn't say on a family-friendly. They made a movie during that time, some kind of monster.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff that happened.
That's right. You
during that
told me
time,
you were off screen in a certain point. Yeah.
I was so mad because like Frank is still like the right hand guy for Lars Ulrich, and he's supposed to be on tour with them in Europe right now, and he had an emergency gallbladder surgery after we had dinner last week. But what was I saying? Oh, no, what was I saying? I lost my
being off screen,
Frank.
Oh, off screen, yeah. So they're filming this movie, and because I'm kind of tight with Frank, and I kind of had an upper position in the hierarchy of the run. So I was in the room when a lot of stuff was happening, and I was making quesadillas off camera while they're having a fight about something. Or I went and got the bass player the day he got the job. he liked me and he asked me to pick him up at the airport, but he didn't know why they asked him to come up, Rob Trujillo.
Yeah.
And that was one of my favorite things. And I took him out to lunch in the city and he didn't know what was going on. And I'm sitting there, nothing.
Because you knew
So,
they were making
dude,
the offer.
He's all, dude, why'd they call me last night and ask me to come up from Venice Beach like overnight? I'm like, oh, nothing. I don't know. You want to go get lunch? And he's like, why are we going to get lunch? Because they're trying to negotiate how much money to give you right now. But I was in there all the time. But in the movie, it's all tight shots, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I was in the room, and like my girlfriend at the time or whatever was like, sure you were, Todd. I'm like, I was making quesadillas right there. Yeah, I was just like Hamilton. But yeah, so that was fun times. I mean, I have so many stories, but Jim Brewer was friends with, he might have been friends with James.
Yeah, I think him and
Lars's wife at the time, Skylar, who was little random trivia. Nobody's listening to this, right?
No, never.
She was the inspiration for the Skylar character in Good Will Hunting, because Matt Damon dated her at Harvard.
Oh wow!
And but she was Lars's one of his wives, and but she was friends with like a couple comedians. Brewer might have been one of them, but I think Hetfield was friends with Brewer, and like they did a tour where Brewer was the opener. I saw that in Vegas, I think. I went to a show at the arena in Vegas before COVID, and I think Brewer was the opening.
Yeah, that was right after we had moved on and from each other, and he'd sent me the pictures, and it was cool. And to watch people get to come up with ideas and do fun things with them, you know, and knowing that you were in the room, Jason, you were a part of the process. It's just a fun, creative moment.
We'll talk again sometime, but I feel like Forrest Gump sometime, because I didn't particularly do the thing, right? So I can't really brag about it, but I was in a lot of cool rooms, you know, including with the Metallica stuff or with other bands when I worked for BGP, you know. I was backstage with the Rolling Stones one time, and I just, like, you're supposed to have backstage etiquette, you know. You're supposed to pretend like you don't care, you know,
right?
And you don't. But I just remember the Rolling Stone. I was actually working for Pearl Jam that day in their dressing room. They were the opening band at Oakland Coliseum, and the Rolling Stones walked by, and every single jaded roadie who's seen it all, done it all, doesn't care, every single one was like, "That's Mick Jagger, that's Keith Richards," you know. Because it was just like, these guys are legends, you know? So it was fun. I wish somebody would write a in the room book, like a roadie. I think some have done some things. I'm not qualified to do it because I didn't do it as long as a lot of these guys, but man, they have good stories. Mm-hmm. They have really good stories, things that nobody knows. And part of it is the honor of, you don't talk about it. Like, I'll tell you some of these things, but I'm not going to tell you a lot of the stuff that happened, even though it's 15 years ago, because you're not supposed to. It's you keep it to yourself, you know? And, but a lot of roadies, they honor that. And it's like one of the last honorable professions in that way. So,
and
yeah.
The story eater in me goes, stop being so honorable. I want to hear all of the stories because they're so,
he's like, no, you don't.
No, you know, the thing is, like, some of them came out over time. There's things James was going through at the time with addiction and things like this that at the time none of us said anything about, because you don't talk, you know. But over the years the stories came out. He would say the stories, his ex-wife would say the story, you know, and they come out, but it didn't come from us, you know. But there was, you know, I don't know how much you're in the lore, but I was just thinking about this the other day. One day I'm helping organize some things at Lars's house, and I find the actual story, the actual note pages that Dave Mustaine, you know Dave Mustaine from Megadeth, he got kicked out of the band.
Yep.
The band famously were like, "Hey, we drink a lot, but you drink too much." you need to go. And they just fired him one morning and put him on a bus
A
from New
bus.
York to San Francisco. And on the bus, he wrote a really long letter to Lars and sent it to him. I found that letter one day just going through stuff, like trying to organize it. I'm like, oh my God, this could go on eBay.
Yeah.
No. But I was just like, oh my God, this is history I read about when I was reading the hard rock magazines when I was a teenager, you know. But those guys are they're really good guys, you know. Lars comes across in the public sometimes as like certain ways, and he'll own up to some of that, but they're actually all really good guys. And it was really super interesting seeing a band that is one of the most important bands of my lifetime. Yeah. And just kind of being there making quesadillas for them when they're recording a record, you know.
That's fun stuff. Joe, can you top that story?
No, sure can't.
Me either.
I didn't even bring out the big guns. Good. Okay.
Do you want to tease the big gun?
No, I do not.
Okay. I closest to a big gun I got was I almost went to a podcasting party the first years at Dragon Con and decided I was tired and hadn't paced myself because I didn't know what Dragon Con was like. Skipped the party and James Gunn showed up and hung out with everybody.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Oh, man.
And the next one was like, oh my God, James Gunn came by. They'd just been filming Guardians of the Galaxy in Atlanta, so he came by the con and blah blah.
I have a few of those too. It's like, oh man, I should have gone to that thing.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, I also turned things down because I'm like, nah, I'm too old. I'm not going to that. Lars actually invited me to go to a Guns N' Roses show once in San Francisco with him. And don't get me wrong, we are not best friends. He was very friendly to me, and we had dinner together sometimes. But I think he wanted somebody to drive, and Frank wasn't available. And
yeah, sure.
I have a kid, right? And he's like 6 months old. I don't know. He's very young, and I'm not sleeping that much, you know, between things. And he calls me up and goes, "Hey, Todd, you want to go see Guns N' Roses later at the Warfield?" And I'm like, that's my Lars impression. Yeah. And I'm like, wait, who? He goes, Guns N' Roses. And I had seen them at the Warfield in 1989 as like one of their first shows. Like, nice. It was amazing. And but this is later. And I'm like, wait, what time is he going on stage? He goes, I don't know, 1 a.m. I'm like, nope. Nope. I got work tomorrow, dude, because I wasn't just working for him. I was seeing clients in the like as an intern, and I had a kid. Like, no, that's not happening.
Man, I would love to say I could say that, but I have said yes to a whole lot less than a story of being at Guns N' Roses with Lars Ulrich, you know. So my wife wished I did more like that.
And the fact that I could look back on it and go, yeah, I should have gone, but no, that was just not going to happen. I need sleep, like you said, Charles.
Yeah,
I value sleep so much, and I don't get it as much as I want sometimes. But let's not be rigid. Let's adjust to the situation. But boy, do I need sleep, and I say no to a lot of things when it's like I have to be up until 3. No, I'm not doing it. Yeah. We take much more expensive flights these days because I'm like, no, not a red eye.
Yeah. Yes. No, I'm there. Joe won't fly Delta. There's a whole long traumatic story. There.
Delta's just not as big out here. I mean, they are out here,
more East Coast. But
they're not as big out here.
So Joe, we got one more to roll into. What are you nerding out about this week?
Oh yeah. So this week, I had asked you when you were thinking that the first draft of the Dragon Con, the digital media track schedule was going to go out, and you were thinking hopefully within the next couple of weeks is kind of what you're hoping. And so I'm like, oh well, I should probably
for tomorrow, but that's not what happened.
So I last year I worked a bunch on a bot for our Discord. And I still needed to do a little bit of polishing up and add a little bit more functionality. And so this week during a couple of my lunch breaks and a couple of after work and things like that, I got it all polished up. And this bot, the idea for this bot started like 6 years ago. And I know that because that's when the track, aka you, used some of the money from the sponsors to buy me a Raspberry Pi to host the bot on.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yep.
So I've had it there, this Raspberry Pi, for over 6 years, and so finally it's being used for the purpose that it was purchased for. And one of the things that I found a lot of fun with is before, when I had tried to get Linux running on the Raspberry Pi, it wasn't working well. I couldn't get it to work out. I couldn't get it to initialize and whatnot. But I tried a new Linux distribution specifically made for the Raspberry Pi, made by the company that makes the Raspberry Pis, and it was seamless. Like it worked out perfectly. I got it up and running. I can remote into it from my desktop without having to connect, keyboard and mouse and monitor to the Raspberry Pi. I can just connect to it from my own computer. So if I need to check on the bot or restart it, I can do that from my computer and whatnot. And it's been great. And so it's up and running on the Digital Media Track Discord. Right now, what I'm having people do is basically tell the bot what their name is, so that way when we're ready to roll out the first draft of the schedule, the bot will automatically create rooms for all of the different panels that we're doing, and anyone who has said, "Hey, bot, this is my name," it will detect that they are on the different panels and automatically add them to the panel rooms, and it will assign them the role of a panelist in the Discord. And so it's automating a lot of stuff that we used to do by hand. And so, I spent, 45 hours coding this to save us a couple hours of work.
But theoretically, that should compile year after year,
Yes, it will. But also just, it's stuff that I like to do. Plus, it saves us a lot of just busy work, tedious work. And so I would rather spend time doing something that feels productive than do something that feels tedious. And so even though the time sink isn't going to line up, I still feel like it was worth it to get it done. And so that's what I'm nerding out about this week.
That's awesome. Todd, you showed some book about Bakugan Tamagotchi, something that you're nerding out about.
Not Tamagotchi. I'm not that nerdy.
No.
One of my favorite. I've been studying Japanese off and on for a few years, and I lived over there in Osaka for a little bit. But I have my shows that I like and stuff. But on Netflix, this is called Erased. It's hard to see.
We were talking about that in the pre-show, Charles.
Oh,
wait, is that the manga for the Race of Town Without Me?
Yep.
Yeah.
I
in
just
Japanese,
watched anime this week.
Yeah, they have a live version and they have the anime version and they have a movie
hilarious.
Live version.
Yeah.
It's Boku. It's called Erase, but it's Boku Dake ga Enai Machi, a town that.
A town without me.
Yeah. But they just call it a race. But I watched the show over and over and over, the manga and the anime and the live. But then as easy reading, like for somebody who's not great at reading Japanese, I have the set of the whole book. But I can't get enough of this show. I really, really like it. Do you guys know Midnight Diner?
I am not familiar with that.
Midnight Diner is a live action Netflix show, but it's based on a manga about a diner in oh gosh, I can't think of the neighborhood in Tokyo. It's kind of like the red light district. I can't think of it right now, but it's only open from midnight to 7 a.m. And so all sorts of just weird motley crews of people come in, overnight. And I love that show too, but I haven't read the manga, but.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've watched Erased, both the live action and the anime 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah. I've probably
so
watched
good.
it 10. Yeah. Because it's just part of how I study is I just watch the same show over and over again. to pick up some of the language. The only thing about that show is they use a lot of I want to say Hokkaido. What do you call it?
Like slang.
Slang. Thank you. It's been a long day, guys. Slang. So like they use a lot of words that are not common Japanese words because they're just like Hokkaido slang.
Okay.
So like I lived in Osaka for a while, and it was like one of the hardest things because they have it's called Kansai Ben or Osaka Ben, which is a very loose, like Japanese is so formal and clean and everything, but in Osaka it's like California Japanese. It's like surfer Japanese. They have all this like really lazy, slangy stuff. And I was going to Japanese school during the day where I had to say it right. But then I would go out to the diner at night and people are using all these words that I'm like, what in the hell are you talking? You know, and the regional dialects are real.
That's man. So we were just at a con a couple weeks ago, and there's a panel on time loops, and Joe was on that panel, and they all recommended Erased, and so I went on Hulu and literally started it a week and a half ago, maybe, Joe, and I binged it. Then I finished it last night, and I was telling him about my take on some of that. Then to turn out that's your favorite.
That's so funny. What a coincidence. Yeah, I didn't hear you guys talking about that.
Yeah.
I just, when you were talking about when Bob was talking about manga.
So good. It is really good. I highly recommend it.
It's a great
I'm gonna
story.
Watch the live
I really
action
like
next.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really good story. The live action one is very good too.
I only predicted part of the ending. I definitely missed a lot of the big steps they ended up pulling, but it was like, I love that. I love that I can pick up on some of the clues, but not everything.
It's interesting though, because the anime and the live action have different endings.
That's what Joe was telling me. Yep.
Yeah.
So I want to see. It's going to be fun.
And before I ever watched it with my wife, because it does deal with some sensitive topics, I did give her a heads up that it does talk about like child murder and things like that. And so we actually waited after I said, hey, we should watch this together. We waited a couple of months where she was in a better mindset to watch it. And so when I do talk to people about that, I do like to give them a warning that there are some heavy topics that could trigger some people. So
yeah, absolutely. And they don't show anything graphic, but part of the main plot line is somebody was killing children, and this guy is trying to figure out who it was and solve the mystery. And I won't give any more spoilers than that, but yeah, it is obviously the most horrible topic.
They detail some of the brutality, and it's like, oof. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, it was great to watch, and there, I didn't feel like anything was treated lightly or disrespectfully. I thought it was a really good mystery with a little bit of time element in it.
No, I love Japanese shows, and most of them, it seems, are based on manga. One way or another, they were a graphic novel first, and then they made a live action or they made an anime of it. But one of my favorite shows of all time, the one I watch the most, is Kekkon Dekanai Otoko, He Who Cannot Marry. It's about a guy who is 40 years old in the first season, and he just is so. He's probably what we would have called Asperger's a couple years ago. I guess we don't use that term anymore, but just like not really reading the room, or they say in Japanese, kukio yomi. He doesn't read the air, is the term they use.
We just call it Dennis Robinson here.
Yes. Okay.
That's a friend of ours. he's
that's a great
the guy
show.
Who can't get married. So
they did a follow-up. It was on Amazon Prime, but they did a follow-up 10 years later, and now he's a 50-year-old.
Yeah.
But it's a great show. I just love watching that one, and I have a lot of it memorized.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's cool, man. I love it. I love learning new things and connecting. I started learning Japanese for a while. My brain ran out of space, and I kind of dropped off. But I took to that language more than any other, and I thought it was fun.
It's a great language,
yeah.
and a lot of the journey for me, and you might know a lot of the stuff. I don't know if you know who Matt versus Japan is, or the book Fluent Forever, but most of the way we teach people how to learn languages is complete garbage. It doesn't work. And if you think you have to memorize things and know perfect grammar, it doesn't work. You know, nobody talks like that nobody talks that way, but every time I hear a baseball player tell me how he learned English, or every time I hear somebody tell me how they learned Japanese, you know how many baseball players have learned English by watching the show Friends?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we had a player on the Giants who he played the theme song every time he came up to bat because that's how he learned English, you know? And it's just so much more effective to watch content that you like and to watch it over and over and over again. And you pick up much more, just like a baby does when they learn. The baby doesn't go to class to learn English. A baby listens to other people talking,
Yeah.
So it's nerdy linguist Stephen Krashen, talking about language is to be acquired, not to be learned. And so I don't know. I love Japanese. There's an order to it and a rhythm to it I really like. My sister lives over there too, so I try to practice with her sometimes.
Yeah, man, I hear you. I am excited that now that I've moved through a bunch of areas of my life. I may have said it last week, but I got a 6-month consulting gig, which brought some stability to the household and things. But also the dominoes that I've been working on are really, really starting to come together and about to start moving in a very, very positive direction as they end up, in that domino way where you build a whole big elaborate thing and then it makes this beautiful picture.
You build a whole big pizza?
Pizza, yes, Joe.
Dominoes?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you couldn't let it be. You couldn't let it be. I hate you. So I got a text this week. My Sunday gig, which I really love doing, I did it for 10 years. I don't remember how long, but every Sunday would go out for Metron. And it was one of the first places who saw me for me more than I saw me for me. Like they knew I could pull magic out of and to them, I mean, it's the Thor magic, science that's unexplained. That like I understand how streaming works and cameras work and signals work, and without explaining it, I can just go in real fast, get it fixed, and that's magic to them. And I started believing in seeing myself how they saw me. A few months ago, through just this timing of the universe, the bishop's mother passed away, which was his last parent to pass away in transition, and then through no fault of our own, through nothing we were even involved in, the theater that we were in, the guy we're renting it from, the ownership was having to change, and it was just going to be a mess. So we lost the place that we were meeting, and he just wanted to take a break. I'm like, I get it, cool. And I've been enjoying my Sunday morning sleeping. But right now I could use a little more of a creative outlet like that was giving me every Sunday, kind of keep me hooked in, and the income. It wasn't a ton, but a nice little flow of income. And when I got that text this week, it's like, hey, things are fairly set at the house, because he basically was building the studio, and he invited us all in to come do our thing on Sunday morning. I was like, whoo, I got the consulting gig, and now I'm getting back to that rhythm, hopefully, and I'm excited. And and I hope to really be able to truly announce some things coming up soon that I've been working on for years and working towards, that is starting to pick up. And it's stuff that, Todd, I would bring it to you to show you how some things can be done the way you do things. And
nice.
And it's about building community, which is always my thing, building community and making money together. And honestly, it's just been, I feel like there's a quote from The Rock where, of course, after these long famous movies and everything else, they were interviewing him, and the question about, how did you chase your dream or something like that? And he talked about, he showed up, I think in LA or somewhere, because I forget how the whole story goes, but basically the quote I remember is, he had $4.25 in his pocket, and that was it. And he's like, well, I have to make it because I have nothing. And he just kept chasing and dreaming. Most everybody's not a star overnight, and that's what I've held on to, is I've built things and worked on things and met the right people at the right place at the right time. And now it's not only am I breathing a little better, therapy helps, but you get some financial stability helps as well. That I'm not excited yet, because I don't like to get ahead of my steps. I like to get it going, and I want it to be like Dragon Con was for me. accept with gratitude. Because the first couple of years, I couldn't be grateful for what I was experiencing. As in, people would come and go, "Oh, this is an amazing show. I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this." I'm like, "Cool, thanks." But in my head, I'm going, "But it missed this mark for me, and I didn't get this pulled off, and I didn't achieve that, and I have this vision. I can't, I couldn't be grateful for. Hey, we made a huge step, and people loved it, and it mattered. I want to keep that. I want to be grateful, but I also want to be as big as I can do things at Dragon Con, as cool as things are. It's just that moment of cooking a quesadilla for somebody. It's like you're just doing real things, being a part of a real magic in a moment, right? It's not just me. Joe is part of the team. There's a lot that goes into all this. And with what I'm about to do, I hope it's like that. It's like it could quite literally put me on a tour and get me to doing the stuff I want to do. But at the same time, it's just like, but I'm still going to do what I'm doing all the time. This is me just more free, and I'm excited about that. And the random kid says, all I heard was that Charles has magic quesadillas. Oh, that is a great place to turn this car around and go home. Gentlemen, it's been great tonight. We love having you, Todd. And we're going to hit one more promo at the end of this.
Follow these nerdy dads on social media. Charles at Rock God of Podcasting. Joe at Joseph_Ard. Check out the website, wiseandnerdy.com. And as always, they may not be your father, but they'll always be your daddy.
And make sure you pick up your copy of The Calm and Connected Parent by Todd Sarner on Amazon and everywhere you get your books.
Shut up, Mike.
Brought to you by Podderation, podcast for nerds.